So this is a new series I'm going to start on, is the web template, and how I would like for you to do the process is you create this web template and then you go on, you create your other pages with it from scratch with it. So what you're looking at here is the layout number 2. I'm just going to pick layout number 2 to demo this with it. It's basically a bootstrap with a jumbotron area as this gray area, and the light area is your container with it as well. And what we're going to do is, if you recall, this is from your code. This is from layout 2. It looks like this, all right? And you've done this as part of your exercise with it. So I'm not going to code this from scratch with it, but you should have this already from your layout number 2 with it. All right, I'm just zoom in on it so you can see what I'm talking about with it. So if you want to pause your screen, compare your notes and my notes, and this screen is the same thing as what you have here as display here. The second screen that I want to have you talk about is the I'm going to use the top navigation menu, and that menu code is also one of the exercise in class exercise number 8 with it, and it looks like this with it as well. So nothing new, it's an internal CSS with it, and this menu right here, if you want to pause, take a look at this, you should have done this, and this menu looks like this. So what I like to do is combine this menu into this page, okay? And at the same time, so that's the first half of the video, is to put the menu in. The second half of the part of the video, or this exercise, is that we're going to actually put in your logo that comes up here with it. So it's all how I don't expect you to design a layout, but at this stage you should be able to read code and edit the code fine with it as well. So so 2 steps. One is to get the navigation in, and the second step is to get some sort of graphics into this this banner area, which is called the jumbotron area with it as well. So let's go back to our code. Right here is my layout number 2 with it, and the area that I'm interested in, the first area that I want to talk to you about, is this area right here, is our container and our row in this area. Let me zoom in this little bit more so you can see what I'm talking about here. It's this area right here is that we're going to go in, and we're going to put in our first right above our row, if you want to, right starting with our first row with it. This is where, let me just comment this out here as we talk about this, because it's very important that later on you can go back in and you can actually still see with this, is that let me comment this out. I'm going to use some comment tags here so we could go back and I'm going to say this is the top menu navigation menu, or start here. Let's just say start here. Alright, so if there is a start here, I'm going to actually insert in the top menu navigation for the menu navigation will end here. Okay, so this right here will actually start it, this right here will actually end, and this is where the code will actually be in between. So it's right before our class row, and it's right in the container. So you have to know where to put this in there as well. So I'm going to go to the top navigation menu. I have both of these open at the same time with it, and I look at here, and as if you notice, there is an internal CSS. I'm going to highlight all of that, and all your internal CSS that you have between your styles. I'm going to copy. I'll come back to my layout over here. I'm going to place my cursor after the end of my script in this, and I'm going to use the bootstrap in addition to my CSS in this layout with it. Alright, so all of this lies in between my head tag. This is my internal CSS. This is my bootstrap that I'm using up here with it. Now, it's in between this part there. I'm going to actually talk about how to actually use the content of this thing. All right. So inside of this, So what we need to do is I'm going to go inside this container right here. I'm going to start to code my navigation in here. Now, let me come over to your top navigation. This is my top navigation menu in here. And if you look at the way how this is laid out right now with it, all right. So you have basically here's your body with it, right? And this is what you need to look at, is to take this set of code. This is between the div code with this whole thing right now. Let me just take that part right now with it, all right? And I want you to see that you have the navigation part that you have. I'm just going to copy that. This is just some placeholder with it. It's in reference to top navigation HTML. We're going to fix this in a second, all right? So come over here. We're going to place this here. This is your div tag right here. Okay. So let me tighten up the code a little bit. Now I'm going to open up the browser for you can see on that. So as you can see, on a live server, I have all these things set up like a menu navigation here. All right, and this is what I like to use with my menu navigation. That's home. Again, it's defaulted to this. Let me see if I can get the code side by side so we can talk about some of the codes that you're doing in here with it. So it's defaulted to the class at this time is active, and it's referenced to a page that's called top nav HTML with this. Well, of course, this is the home page, right? So I'm going to change that top nav. This is my portfolio template. This is my template. So I'm going to keep this. I'm going to change this to an index home, whatever you want to call this, is your first page, right? So that's the default page. Of course, inside of this right here, instead of a pound sign, instead of the pound sign that I have, which is when I click on it, I'm going to change that to what should I call that one? That should be called project, projects.html. I haven't created that yet, right? In the pound sign, replacing the pound sign, I'm going to do contact.html. Now remember, these pages I have not created yet, these 4 pages with it. So the next page is about me. Let's keep that no space .html. So again, index, project, contact me, about me. These 4 pages I have not created. All right, I have not created. I will create. Remember, this is the template. So how do I create that? I'm going to do file save as, and I give it a name. But before I do that, I have to make this template perfect with it as well. So this is, I want to make sure that you see here, when I hover over this, look at the bottom left of the screen. Look at the bottom left of the screen. When I hover over this, look at the bottom left. Do you see in my live server, it points to the 127.001:55, all that's path, and points to projects.html. When I go to contact, it does the same thing. I don't click on it. I hover over it. It tells me what the link is. I hover over about me. It should change. Look at the bottom left of the screen. Do you see that very, very fainted text at the bottom? Make sure, okay, and as you can see, I hover over home. It says index. I hover over projects. It should say project.html. All right. Now, so make sure you have that. That's the first. This is our menu navigation. I'm going to go in here. I'm going to put in a piece of graphics instead of this H1 tag right now with it. So let's come back to the code right now. Come back to the code. And here's the code. So this is the area that's called my Jumbotron. I'm going to not use this, my first bootstrap and resize and all that stuff with it. That's besides the fact with it. But what I'd like to do is, in here, I'm going to insert in, you're welcome to insert in your vector graphics, any graphics that you want. I'm just going to use something that's an image tag with it. I'm going to use image tag, and the source that's coming from this is in a directory that I already created with it, and I have a whole bunch of stuff that's created in this as well with it. Let me see here. I created a transparent, several versions of, toilet paper seems to be a neat topic for me to discuss right now with it. But the moment I do this, remember now, the relationship between my layout, this layout number 2, I have to go through my img directory, right? So img / and the moment I do that, it gives me a lot of options. I'm just pick version 4 is the latest version that I use with it. All right. I come over to the outside of that. I want to see what this thing looks like, and there it is. It's displayed in my toilet paper with it as well. It's a transparent background that I use with it. So I want, if you're using a transparent background, it should come across with it as well. Let's go back to the code here for a second here. If you want to change out your mission statement, that's fine with it. Just replace that, resize the responsive with it. I'm going to say something along the line, more power to the toilet paper manufacturer. Okay, so this right here, I have basically my template that I have, right? So this could be save as what I'm now. This is layout number 2, right? This is layout number 2. I need to actually just do file, save as, and let's say that's the layout that I want to use for this thing with it as well. The first page, remember those 4 pages that I haven't created: the index, the projects, the contacts, the about me.html. I need to go in and create those 4. So I'm going to do index, all right, .html. All right, just do index. It will save. It should save as HTML for him, but with it as well. But just make sure I do that, and it puts in the file extension index.html. Go back to that layout again. Just go back to that layout again for you. Make sure you have that content with it. So you go back to the layout number 2. Layout number 2. Do file, save as. And we're going to call the second one what? We haven't called it projects.html. Okay. And then we pull out number 2 again. Go make sure you're creating this from layout number 2. And you're going to do file, save as. And this layout, this next one's called what? Contacts.html. Same spelling as the file name. Make sure you have that with it. Layout number 2. File, save as. And the last file we're going to create is about me.html. So about me. Okay. So so I have, here's the index. Here's the next one is the projects. Here is the contact me. Here is the about me. Now, I want to test this to make sure that we have this properly looked at. All right. So here's what I want you to do. I just turned that off by accident with it. So take one of your index page, and now I have the index page right now. And here's what I would like for you to do. We're going to open up this index page, open in the live server. That's fine, which is this right here. It should say index up here. So if I click on projects, it goes to the project page. I go back to the home page. Contact, it goes to the contact page. You see the URL up here? About me. So everything should be linking properly because you created this from the template with it as well. Now, let me stop the video right now. This is the end of part 1 of how to create your class project template to your full-blown page with it. So I'm going to end the video right here, ending the first part. Okay.